Thank you very much for joining me in this live webinar on how to improve your immune system. We're going to cover first what is immunity and how do we know if our immune system is strong. And second, what reduces our immunity, what makes us more vulnerable for infection, whether it's bacterial, viral, or fungal type of infection. So, and then last, we're going to talk about herbs, lifestyle habits, diets, dietary changes that we can do to strengthen our immunity. So, big subject and very valuable at this time because we want to all increase our immunity and be defensive and prevent any type of infection. So, first, it's important to understand, is your immune system strong? That's really the big question here. And the signs of good immunity are strength, vigor, even good appetite, and of course, good libido and good stamina. Stamina, well, walking, well, doing chores, and of course, sexual stamina is also a sign, as per Ayurveda, of good immunity. The West looks at immunity in terms of the lymphatic system, the spleen, the white blood cells, endocrine system, and other aspects of our body. But Ayurveda kind of covers it all by talking about ojas, which is covering all of the strength behind all the different mechanisms of our immune system. So we're really talking about building this ojas, this inner strength that allows you to endure and fight off any types of pathogens, whether it's bacterial or viral or fungal. When you have good immunity, you don't, your immune system is then capable of defending itself against these pathogens. So first we should look at ourselves and feel, do we feel strong? Do we have vigor? Can we go through the day without coffee? Or can we sleep good without sleeping medication, for example? These would be signs of good immunity. And of course, if you have a history of catching colds and flus and infections, then it's a sign your immune system is weak. Even if that's UTIs or other types of fungal infections on our toes, yeast infections in our body, or even candida is a type of yeast overgrowth. It shows a sign of poor immunity. So, you want to be able to classify yourself, first of all, if you have this strong or weak immunity, so if you have to really work on this area or not. The other day, I went to riding out in the rain with my horse and my dog, and we were riding in the rain in the evening, and the dog jumped in the river and was swimming in the river and came back and was strong, and the horse was vigorous, and we loved the ride, and we felt this kind of strength and vigor, even though we're out in the cold and the rain. But the dog, the horse, and nobody, fell sick. And that's a sign of good immunity, this, confidence, in a sense, that you will be protected because your immune system is doing good and is strong. So you should get a sense of it. It's more than just measuring your white blood cell count in your blood to understand your strength of your immune system. Second, let's talk about what depletes our immune system. So many people may already be taking actions every day and doing things every day that depletes their own immune system. And this is very important because before we get to the next part of this webinar on what we can do to strengthen and build our immunity and prevent infection, we need to first eliminate the actions that are reducing our immune strength. And so when we want to build immunity, it's a strengthening action. So that means it's the opposite of detoxing. So fasting, skipping meals for very long, not eating much, eating light, this is going to deplete your immunity, not strengthen your immunity. I mean, there's cases where short intermediate fasting can be beneficial, but if you want to have vigor and strength to be riding the horse in the rain at night and traveling all over India in the back streets and eating, food and not from small markets and not getting sick and things like that, which I'm known for, then you don't want to be fasting. You need to be eating wholesome food, nutritious food, and not be thinking in terms of detoxification and cleansing. You want to be thinking in terms of strengthening. So if you're light, underweight, depleted, been on a very restrictive diet, then there's a probability that your immune system is getting weaker, even though you may be losing weight. And for those people who are underweight, they're more vulnerable to infection because they don't have as much strength or ojas or this inner immune strength. So you don't want to be skipping meals. You don't want to be following an extreme diet where there's no grains or no. If you're weak and underweight and anemic, you don't want to be vegan or even vegetarian at this point. You want to focus on strengthening and building the body, building the nutrition, all whole foods. And even if you're eating a lot, but you're eating poor quality foods, junk foods or restaurant foods, then you're going to have a weaker immune system because the quality of the food is less. There's too much sugar and there's too much poor oils and fats in this restaurant food that's going to also not give you the good nutrition. Because in fact, if you're nutritionally deficient, whether you're low in zinc or D vitamin by not giving enough sun, for example, then also your immunity is low. So D vitamin deficiency will lower your immunity. So any deficiency, whether it's, your vitamin C, your zinc, or your D, these are the supplements people think of most when they think of building immunity. But you should be able to get most of this from your food and be able to, and going outside in the sun and sleeping well and digesting well. So another reason people have weak immunity is due to just poor nutrition. And that comes from poor digestion. So if you have a lot of gas, bloating, constipation, and you don't feel good after meals, you feel heavy, sluggish, and you have what we call malabsorption, then you probably also are having nutritional deficiencies because you're not absorbing the food properly. Then if you have nutritional deficiencies, then you're going to be, low in some of these vitamins we just mentioned and minerals, and you're going to be more susceptible to infection. Also, another cause of depleted immunity or weak immunity, besides just nutritional deficiencies, not eating enough, fasting, skipping meals, is stress. And where does the stress come from? It comes from our mind, our head, our thinking. So if we're worried about the future, overthinking about the past, because the future doesn't exist. It's only in your mind. So nobody really knows what's going to happen next. So, when we think of the future, that's going to create stress because we don't know what's going to happen. And when we, think too much about the past, he should have, I should have, we should have, I could have, all of these. And this also is creating more stress because the past only exists in your head too. There's only the moment. So only in the moment can you be at peace and can your mind be calm. So it's very important to keep the mind calm, not be stressed by too much news, too much information that's not relevant to you, not worrying about the future, not thinking about the past, staying in the moment and trying to keep your stress down, keep your body relaxed, because if you're stressed, then this can affect, again, your digestion. And many people know this. When they're stressed, not only can high blood pressure go up and can we have other issues, but our digestive system doesn't work as well when we're having anxiety and we've got the cortisol releasing, etc. Then again, the poor digestion leads to the poor nutrition. The poor nutrition leads to depletion in our tissues in our body and ultimately the depletion of our own immune strength, or in Ayurvedic terms, our ojas, the reservoir of our immunity. So staying calm, relaxing is also very important. And also not pushing ourselves too much. If we over-exercise, we're going to also deplete ourselves. on making ourselves work too much is also going to be depleting for our body and create more stress. So everybody should relax more, sleep better. Of course, we know if we don't sleep good, we're also going to deplete our immunity. So you can see there's a lot of ways in our modern life of overeating, skipping meals, staying up late that can deplete you and make your immune system weaker and ultimately more vulnerable for infection. And many of us know this. When we travel, we get stressed out, we're not sleeping good on the plane, and then we come back with colds and flus and infections. And of course, being in that contained environment with all these other people, with all this bacteria and viruses in the air, we get we're exposed, but we're exposed all the time. We're breathing in millions of bacteria and viruses and pathogens every single day. So it's not the virus and the pathogen that we should be concerned about, because we can't control that. What we need to focus on is the soil, that where the virus or the pathogen could reside, and whether our soil is good and it will protect us, or whether it's depleted, just like in the garden. If the soil's bad, we're just going to grow weeds. So the weed is the undesired pathogen. So poor sleep is an issue. Over-exercise is an issue. And even over-sexual activity, losing our reproductive fluids, both for the man and the woman, is very depleting, as every man knows, that you're losing some of your real inner strength. And according to Ayurveda, you're losing your immunity to a great extent by excess sexual activity. We won't get into the numbers here of how much that is, but I think you get the idea. You're trying to build and strengthen and not lose. So we don't want to stress ourselves out. We don't want to think too much. We don't want to worry too much. We want to sleep better. Don't want to push ourselves too much. And we want to eat good and have nice, healthy meals every day. So that's the things we can do in our lifestyle to help to avoid depleting ourselves and becoming more susceptible to infection. Okay, so I think those are what you should focus on first. And then second, we can start to take some supplements on top of that, which we know will build our immunity. And we can go back in time and we can look at what people used to do in the past to build their immunity. For example, sailors on a boat, what did they have so they wouldn't get sick? In the Scandinavian countries, cod liver oil. And of course, we know it's very high in vitamin D. We can see that we've got vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin A on there. So 1 teaspoon a day, you can have your daily allowance of vitamin D from cod liver oil. Or better, just go on the sun for 10 or 15 minutes a day if you have sun at your location. So that's a good start. And if you're very low in vitamin D, you can take a couple teaspoons a day. And now another great supplement is olive leaf oil, a kind of old Mediterranean method of improving immunity, preventing colds and flus. And it's not olive oil, it's the oil from the leaf of the olive plant. So very potent, very nice. This one's peppermint flavored. There's a few brands that make it. Very effective. 1 teaspoon and a day is quite ample. I didn't bring it here, but don't forget honey. Raw honey, as we've known for since the beginning of time, that honey is one of the great nutritional gifts to humankind, and its benefits, particularly the bee propolis. This is what the bees made inside of the honeycomb to protect themselves from infection. And the bee propolis is very potent. It's been used for thousands of years. And honey is a great antimicrobial, antibacterial formula. Many wounds on dogs, cats, and animals. I've always used honey, and it's avoided infection very well, very well. Even very serious, deep wounds, I've used just cleansing every day with some cleanser. We'll talk about what can be used to cleanse a wound. And then putting honey in the wound, raw honey. You don't need to bring the honey from New Zealand. You should have your own local honey. Now, in the Middle East, they used, when they had a plague come by, they used black cumin seed oil. That's why the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that black cumin seed oil was a cure for all things but death itself. And they were known to take that when there was infection. Now, in India, they mostly took tulsi for their immune system. There's an empty bag of tulsi because I've used it up, tulsi powder. We have a tea here called Immune Tea. And you can see right there that the first three ingredients are tulsi, Rama tulsi, Varna tulsi, and Krishna tulsi. 3 types of tulsi. There's actually 5 types of tulsi, but I'm just getting 3. And then it's coming with a little licorice and cinnamon and ginger. All together, it's a very nice immune building formula, preventing infection. Now, if you do have an infection or a cold, then you'd want something a little stronger than this. But we're just talking about avoidance at this point. Here's another formula that I have, another immune tea, kind of using Western herbs. And there we go. The first herb is what? Echinacea. Then, peppermint for flavor. So, kids can drink it. Hibiscus, antioxidants, vitamin C. Lemon peel, again, antioxidants, vitamin C. Licorice root, just like in the other tea. And the licorice is has mild antimicrobial qualities and is very soothing for the respiratory system. And cinnamon, again, another tasty spice herb that helps with immunity to a small degree. It's got antimicrobial qualities to it. So if you didn't know what else to do and you didn't have anything else, you could just be drinking cinnamon, licorice, ginger tea all day with a little lemon. I mean, this will, to some degree, improve your immunity. Here's another product I liked, and this company, many people know about them. They have a whole range of wellness products, and some of the same herbs that I mentioned in here. I think there's echinacea, golden seal, olive leaf, oregano oil. I believe those are some of the ingredients in here, and they have it in tincture form, and they have it in capsule form, and very effective. I mean, this is so effective. It's got more than just immune supporting herbs like the formulas I just mentioned, but does have some antibacterial, antiviral herbs in there like olive leaf oil, and I think they put garlic in it as well, and that will help fight off even a cold. I'm sure many people have had this product and had it in during a cold or fever and found that it resolved it very quickly. So for that matter, we could just be looking at garlic. Garlic was once called the Russian antibiotic. I think as early back as the World War I, people were putting garlic straight on gun wounds to avoid infection. So you can't underestimate the power of garlic in building the immune system and fighting infection, because it's been used for many years for just this purpose. And of course, having some probiotics is often useful, particularly if you've had antibiotics in the last 6 months. And that's, of course, another reason many of us do get infections easy, is that's because we've had too much antibiotics. And the antibiotics has destroyed our intestinal flora, our healthy intestinal flora, and left us with the unhealthy intestinal flora, which also results in candida, yeast overgrowths. It's kind of like the weeds coming up in your yard because you killed all the healthy grass with your some poison, and then the weeds came in, and that's what antibiotic does. It may fight off your bacterial infection, which is good, but then you will also lose some healthy intestinal flora, which will lower your immune system. And I'm not a medical doctor, and I'm not giving anybody any medical advice on this video or in practice, but anybody on an immune suppressing drug such as steroids should be concerned about their immunity. And anybody taking like organ replacement rejection drugs to avoid the rejection of the organ, or anybody taking any immune suppressing drugs due to an autoimmune condition, should be more concerned about strengthening their immune system because of the immune suppressing qualities of their medication. But that's a side subject which you should speak to your medical doctor about. Here, I found this just the other day in Trader Joe's. They were out of toilet paper, but they did have immune Echinacea ginger and lemon tea. So I bought 6 of these, skipped the toilet paper. I figure this is more useful than a toilet paper. And, it's not organic, but it was nice, pleasant. Kids drink it. And we do have that Echinacea in there. I'm sure it wouldn't keep away a serious flu virus, but definitely it would boost your immunity. Oh, we did talk a little bit about bee products, bee pollen, bee propolis, all good for your immune system and strengthening you. And what else? Oh, and, just rinsing the throat with salt water every day is very good. Just gargling with salt water. If you get a sore throat or you start to feel the first signs of infection, you can start gargling with salt water. And, and I don't discourage taking vitamins. I just think we should get a good brand of vitamins and not a cheap brand. We should have, food-based vitamins. It is 2020 now, and we have food-based vitamins. So there are a few companies that have natural vitamin C that's extract from fruits and vegetables. And we have companies providing even natural vitamin D. If you're a vegan, you don't want to do the cod liver oil, they have vitamins D now from mushrooms. And I brought some mushrooms here. That's what here's some reishi mushrooms right here. Reishi mushrooms is known to help not only with cardiovascular conditions, but increasing white blood cell count and improving immunity, along with shilaki and other mushrooms. And of course, even if you're just cooking, you could just cook with more garlic, more thyme, more oregano. These are all going to, strengthen the immune system and help you to fend off more pathogens or avoid infection. So just the way you cook can help you to strengthen your immunity. Oh, here's Oregon grape root. This is the main ingredient in the cold and flu tea that I have that helps fight off infection. Here's a formula that I made recently. It's based on suggestions from Indian doctors in India, and we call it Immune Formula 2020 for our new times. And this is increasing immunity and preventing infection. And there we can see a tulsi as the first ingredient, and dado haldi. Dado haldi in Sanskrit means turmeric. So dado haldi means like super turmeric. So it's better than turmeric. We use it instead of turmeric because turmeric is not that potent. Dado haldi is similar. It's very similar to it, even has a similar taste, but it's much more effective in dealing with infections. And there's guduchi, which is the renowned Ayurvedic herb for modulating the immune system. In fact, it's used for autoimmune conditions as well, but also helps immunity. And then we've got amlaki. That's coming from the amla berry. And the amla berry we know is the most concentrated food of vitamin C, and it's used for antioxidants and supporting the immunity. And then we're just balancing it out with a little licorice and a little cinnamon to make it more pleasant and a little more benefit. So this is very effective. So, a good combination would just be, drink the tea all day, give the tea to your children. And if somebody's more susceptible to infection, then they can also be taking some immune formula and putting it in the tea and having this in a couple times a day and avoiding all the actions that can deplete your immune system. Oh no, it doesn't mean you don't have any sex. It just means, it's not too much. You have to allow the body to be rejuvenate itself and be strong, and you want to feel that strength. So that covered it. It was a big subject, but I got through it pretty quick there, and I hope that helped you to see that the objective is to strengthen your immune system and be defensive, and not to stress, not to worry, and to just know that you're eating well, that you're taking care of your body, you're not stressing yourself out, not overworking, not over pushing yourself. You're having your 3 meals a day, and you're using some of these spices that I mentioned here, cooking with more garlic and onions, sleeping earlier, getting more sleep, making sure you're nice and rested. And then on top of that, you can take the herbal teas. You can do Western teas like I mentioned, the Echinacea, the golden seal, the Oregon grapefruit, the thyme, the oregano, so many. You don't have to take them all. You just need 1 or 2 of them. You don't have to throw them all in one big pot and think that's going to make it stronger. No, that's kind of a kitchen sink approach to herbalism. You just need 1 or 2 good ones, and then you can put it in some licorice or cinnamon and take this as a little homemade tea that you have every day. And you can add a little honey to it, honey to your food. And of course, I didn't mention that sugar also depletes our immune system. And we all know that sugar is kind of like an anti-nutrient, that when we have it a lot, we actually have nutritional deficiencies. It depletes us of nutrients, and it stimulates us, gives us energy, kind of like coffee and sugar, and then we don't eat. So if you're living off of coffee or living off of sugar or living off of some stimulant like Red Bull or something like that, then this could kind of make your whole system and metabolism overactive. Then you don't eat, you don't build immunity, you actually are depleting yourself, and maybe at night you just crash out of exhaustion, and you're not building yourself. You should eat, stay calm, go to sleep early, and avoid these type of stimulants, and avoid eating sweets, cookies, candy, chocolate, these type of things. No, chocolate is not the healthy food. I know people would love to think that eating cacao, dark chocolate, is healthy, but cacao is inflammatory, and it always is coming with some sugar. So it's a time to avoid these things, and to just get a walk around your house, or get outside, get some sunshine, be cooking foods and home cooked foods in your house, and take care of yourself, and sleep early. These would be the best advice. And then if you have any concerns about your immunity, then you can contact me, and I could do an appointment with you and provide you with some of these herbal formulas. And if you have other health conditions as well, you may want to work on them. Now is the best time to work on improving all of your health. I always say to people, if you're taking any medication, then you're no longer healthy. That's why you're taking the medication. So I encourage the client to always, change your diet, change your lifestyle, take herbal supplements, so you can avoid having to take medication, and you can remain truly healthy. Because when we're taking multiple medications, then we have multiple health problems, and some of these medications could be immune suppressing. So it's better to focus on keeping ourselves healthy, so we don't have to depend on medication, but we can take care of ourselves through self-care, changing our diet, changing our lifestyle, and working with herbal remedies, so we can remain truly healthy. So once again, health is not just having a good six-pack, or being at a certain weight, or having muscles, or having a lot of Instagram likes. Health is having this immunity and this inner strength that prevents you from having any type of infection. So I hope that helped you. I'll stay here for a little bit and answer questions for those who remain in this webinar.